Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, NerdModon, and welcome to Recap, a video series where I'll be going over what has been occurring over the last week and talk with you guys about things that you can be expecting in future episodes. So with that said and done, let's jump right into the episode, shall we? So of course, starting things off on the YouTube side of things, I've actually been making a couple of videos over the last couple of days, and overall I feel like our schedule has been pretty consistent for the most part. I'm still trying to work out Tuesday and Wednesday when it comes down to a video series. Unfortunately, I haven't exactly decided what I want to do specifically with those days, so of course if you guys have some recommendations, feel free to let me know in the comments below, but as of the moment, I'm still trying to work with a couple of things and fine-tune some video series by themselves. Now, of course, with that said, we are continuing on with Sniper Elite 3, and we are actually going to be finishing it up in the next couple of days, which is very exciting. I know you guys have been kind of waiting for that series to be finalized in some aspects, and I'm sure many of you guys are wondering where the videos have been, considering that there's always a big gap between episodes. So in relation to the videos being separated by a great deal of time, I do apologize about that. Hopefully in the next series that we'll do for a Let's Play, that will be a little bit less of an issue, but this time around it seems like it struck me a little harder than it did in the past. So of course, with that said, let's kind of transfer over to some really redeeming qualities, especially about YouTube, and something that I'm very excited about. This is a quality and an aspect that I've been waiting for a very long time, since 60 frames per second was announced for the lower resolutions. So of course, with that said, 60 frames per second is now available for 1440p, which is known as 2K, as well as 2160p, which is 4K, which is also the resolution that I upload pretty much all of my videos in nowadays. Now the reason I do that is because those resolutions are granted a higher bitrate, and the higher the bitrate, the better the quality on YouTube. So for an example, if you guys go and watch a 720p video, you'll notice that it doesn't look as good because the bitrate that YouTube assigns to that resolution is a lot lower, and it pixelates and just looks really disgusting when it comes down to the main gist of it. However, on the flip side of things, you have 2160p, which is the maximum resolution that YouTube allows on the site, which is also granted the highest bitrate on the site, which allows your videos to look a lot more crisp and sharp than they normally would. So in conclusion, I'm very excited for 60 frames per second because as you go from 30 to 60, you also get more bitrate, thus giving you better quality, also allowing you to utilize that, especially if you have the bandwidth for your internet connection. So of course, with that detailed description of what bitrate and resolutions do for YouTube, I'm very excited about 60 frames per second, and I don't really see much of a reason to upload in 30, especially when it comes down to the main gist of it. So of course, in response to this, over the next week or so, you guys might see a gradual shift in quality on my videos, which I'm really looking forward to, especially as I transfer from 30 frames per second to 60. Now of course, this won't be a very quick change, considering that I do have a lot of content already built up that's already rendered and placed into 30 frames per second, so of course I'm not going to go back through and re-record everything. However, over the next week to 2 weeks, you guys might see that the videos now are going to be supporting 60 frames per second, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that, especially if you have the bandwidth that is required for 60 frames per second playback. Now, transferring over to the gaming side of things, unfortunately over the last 2 weeks or so, I really haven't been playing a whole lot of games. I mean, I've been playing casually Battlefield 4 every once in a while, but for the most part, I really haven't been dabbling too much in the online market, which is unfortunate when it comes down to it. Now, of course, with that said, I have decided to re-download Counter-Strike Global Offensive because I really want to try to get to level 3 so that I can play in competitive. Now, as of the moment, I'm only on the verge of reaching level 2, so I have a whole nother level to go through, and I'm just really not having a lot of fun with the game. I feel like competitive is the only real way to play Counter-Strike, and when it comes down to it, I feel like the leveling system is kind of stupid. I understand why it's in play, and I really respect that, but unfortunately I wish I could just bypass it so that I could actually enjoy the game. So of course, with all that information kind of talked about, I don't know how much I'll be playing Counter-Strike. I find it really boring at the moment, considering that I hate playing Team Deathmatch and all these other game modes, considering that they just don't have any oomph to them, which is unfortunate. But as of the moment, I guess I'll kind of gradually try to ghost my way up to level 3, and hopefully things will work out by itself. And finally, transferring over to the real life side of the video, granted a whole lot hasn't really changed over the last week, which is kind of unfortunate, but for the most part I feel like it's a little bit important to kind of discuss it and give a general idea of what I've been doing on the outside lines when it comes down to video production. So of course, this last week has really just been a lot of training for my current job. As many of you guys might be aware, last week I did pick up a job finally. It felt like I just could not quite grasp one, and it was really weird considering that I've never had this many difficulties in the past. But I've now been within the position for about 10 days, and I feel like I'm trying to still learn a little bit about what the position is and overall where stuff is kind of located, but by itself I feel like I'm grasping the overall position pretty well, and I look forward to seeing how things will work out. Now, other than working, of course, I've been hanging out with the friends every once in a while. It seems like this last week we haven't been associating ourselves within a group too much, but that's just mainly because I just got a job and many of them have been dealing with outside things that are a little bit more important at the moment, so of course I'm kind of giving them the space that they need. And other than that, there really hasn't been a whole lot going on outside of doing YouTube. I feel like I just spend a lot of my time trying to educate myself on what type of videos I want to be, trying to look at the scheduling for overall days and trying to decide which videos should go where and how I can reconstruct them to make the video series better in certain aspects. So of course a lot of my time has been spent doing research, looking up codecs, and overall just trying to get a general understanding of what I can do to enhance the videos and make them better in different departments. So of course feedback is always appreciated in that aspect, and it allows me to create better videos, as well as fix issues that might be going on with the video series that I can't quite see. That's the best thing about YouTube, is that a lot of people can look at something and give their opinion on this type of media, which overall allows me to take the feedback and hopefully make it positive when it comes down to it. So that's always, of course, the main idea when it comes down to feedback, but it just kind of depends on how it's said and how overall I receive it. That's kind of the ultimate thing when it comes down to making the improvements and making the fixes that are necessary to re-enhance the video series. So of course that's just kind of where I sit at the moment. But anyway guys, that's really all the information I have for you. Hopefully you guys found something in the video insightful when it comes down to it, and of course until the next episode, this has been NMO, and I'm going to be signing out guys. Peace.